Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this lesson, we will build an authentication system using PHP and MySQL. Now let's get started. First things first, if you haven't installed the XAMPP yet, then check out the link in the description to download and install it on your system. Once installed, launch the XAMPP application. Within the XAMPP control panel, start the Apache server. The Apache server will act as our local server for PHP. The reason being that PHP is a server-side scripting language. Additionally, start MySQL because in this project, we will be using MySQL database. With our Apache server and the MySQL running, you can now go ahead to minimize the XAMPP application. Do not close it, just minimize it. Now, let's navigate to the XAMPP folder directory as I have done over here. Within that directory, locate the htdocs folder and then open it as I have done over here. Within the htdocs folder, you create a new folder. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will call the folder authentication. Of course, you can give it any name of your choice. After this, you can go ahead to launch the folder in your favorite editor, in my case VS Code. Now, having opened the project in your favorite editor, you go ahead to create the necessary files. One for login, and then the other for registration. Can I spell it? I have already built the authentication UIs for this project. I'll drop the link to the GitHub repo in the description below. Sadly, I won't go into the details of creating the UI, as that is not the focus for this tutorial. The code you see here pertains to the user interface aspect of our project. It encompasses both the login page and the registration page. Let's check it out in the browser. That is it. This is for the login page, and then there is a registration page. Users have the ability to seamlessly navigate between these two pages. There you have it, the registration page, and then you can go back to the login page. Let me indicate that the design has been crafted utilizing HTML and Tailwind CSS. Moving forward, let's proceed to delve into the MySQL segment of our project. And by that, I mean we need to create a database. Within that database, we create a table, and within the table, we add some columns. Let me show you how. Just for confirmation's sake, let's make sure MySQL is still running. Yes, it is in my case. Open your browser and then visit this URL. If everything is working correctly, you will see an interface like this. And this is where we will create our database. We begin by clicking New and then giving the database a name. I already have an existing database with the name Authentication. I think I use it for another project. And so I cannot have the same name. And so I'll create a database with a different name. I'll just call it auth. And then you click on create. Next, we need to create a table. And the table needs to have a name. And so I'll call it users. And then you have to indicate the number of columns we want. How do we do that? Before that, let's visit our website. Oh, we're already here. Over here, let's go to the register. We have 3 fields or 3 columns over here. And so the full name, the email address, and the password. This can give us a clue. Here. And so we will need user ID, the full name, email, and password. And so the 4 is okay. I click on create. Of course, in future, if you need more, you can always add more. Before working on the structure of our database, let me draw your attention to something. When you visit the interface for the first time, you wouldn't see all the databases you are seeing here. I think by default, you should see the last 5. The rest are databases that I created myself. They are projects that I'm working on or I have already worked on. Okay, so let's proceed to the structure of our database. You begin with the ID, name for the full name. You can make it F name if you want to. Email, and of course, the password. Let's move on to the types and then probably finish up the rest. And so over here, we'll maintain the int. We'll go with varchar. I changed the name from F name to name. Okay, because in the HTML I use name for, let me show you. over here, the name here, I use name. If you want to maintain it to F name, you understand soon, very soon you understand. When you get to the PHP aspect, you understand. Okay, so let's go on. So varchar, same varchar, and then the length, we will leave it as empty. The length 100 is okay. I don't think people have names with more than 100 characters, but hey, you can leave it as any number you want. The highest or the maximum is 255. Over here, 100 is okay. Now, with respect to this one, the password will undergo hashing, and so it is required that we use an extensive character length. You understand me? So because of the hashing aspect, I'll leave it at 255, and then we move on to the next one, which is let's take this so we can have the ID as the primary key, and then what else? I think that should be all for now. I think so. Of course, if there's anything we need to do, we can always come back to update it. You get it? Okay, so yeah, that should be all. You click on save. Okay, so it's processing, and then when it's done, we can move on to the next aspect. Okay, and so that is the structure of our table. I think by default the ID has 11, but that's okay. Okay, so that is it. If you want to add more, you can just add it over here, but that is okay. We move on. Okay, awesome. So the database aspect is done. Now let's move on to now what you have to do next is how to connect to that database and make sure we succeed in that. And so let me just close this, and then I'll create a file. Give it any name you want. I'll call it connect.php. In a real world what you do is that you might want to put this file in a separate folder, but hey, you will leave it as it is. And so you begin the work. Is it correct? Yeah, it's correct. Okay, so what do you do? Let's start this way. Bit of PHP, and then we go this way. Okay, I don't know what the issue is. Why is the syntax wrong? Why is it not being highlighted? What's the issue? I think something should. Let me just check the naming convention again. I don't know. Rename. Is that a dot? So what is happening? Okay, let's move on. We will create a variable $. You can call it connect, but I'll just call it con, and then we assign it to my SQLi. Where is the Q? Underscore connect. This is not coming from me, it's coming from PHP. Now this more like a method. This method takes 4 parameters, and so the first parameter is the localhost. What's happening? How do you get this? Let's go back to the database, and then as you can see here, where is this? Server localhost 127. That's the IP address. Okay, so they call the loopback address or something. Okay, so we have this, and the next one is definitely your username, which in my case is root, and then your password if you have any. I don't have any password. I have not set any password when connecting to the database, and so I'll leave it empty. And then the next one is the database name, which in our case is auth, this very one. Okay, so we type auth over here, and there we go. What do we do next? Is that we need to add some conditions. And so if, let's say, I'll update this condition very soon, but for now let's do it this way. If connect is successful, so the variable name is con is successful, what do we do? So we open our parentheses, and what do? We echo. What do we echo? Let's say connected. Just put some words together. Connected successfully, just for us to check and know our database connection was successful. I don't know. Then if something goes wrong, obviously the else aspect comes in. What do? We die, and then we have MySQL error. Where is the error? This is the error. Okay, and so what do we pass here? We pass the variable name. Awesome. I think one more, one N. Awesome. And so with this, we can be able to check out our database if it was successfully connected or not. What is the issue now? Okay, what's the issue now? So expected my SQLi error die. Let me just save it. what we'll do is eventually I'll update this condition eventually. If not, we will have this appearing on all the pages, and so eventually I'll put this over here. Okay, regardless of the error, let's go ahead and test it out as I said earlier on. So we go to our browser. Before that, you can even right click this and copy the path if you want to. We will need it in the browser. And so we open a new tab and then you paste what you copied over here. Okay, it's not pasting, but still we go here. I get this one, I copy this. Of course, we will adjust it. So you paste. Okay, this is not what we want. We want this, we want this, we don't want this. So now it's connect. We add the file, the connect file within the authentication folder to connect.php, and then we hit enter. Of course, successfully. Database connected successfully. That's the message we sent over here. That if the database connection was successful, that's what we want to see. And so we have been able to link, or we've been able to connect to our database successfully. The front end and the backend or the database are in sync. Let's move on. Now with that out of the way, what you can do is that we need to include this file over here, the connect file, in both the login file and then the registration file. How do we do that? It's very simple. We go to the top of this, we give some space, and then we type our PHP syntax. Okay, I have typed something but it's not showing, so we close it, of course. Okay, I don't know what's happening to my laptop, but we use the word include. It's a keyword from PHP and it takes something. What does it take? It will take the path of this file, the connect file, whatever you want to include. If you don't do it this way, you have to repeat the content of the connect file or this code over here. You have to repeat it in the registration file and then the login file. We don't want to do that. Remember, don't repeat yourself. And so what is the link or the path to that connect? I think so. We did not put it in any folder, so I think this should work. Okay, let me just format it a bit. Okay, I only want to format it. Okay, I think this should work. Now check something out. Remember, I told you we have to update this. Let me show you why. You go back to this, we refresh. Remember, we are dealing with the authentication aspect. Okay, something is wrong. No search file. Okay, warning, info open, no search file, that's blah 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 blah. Include. Okay, connect. Okay, let's see. It says there's no search file like that, and so probably we have to put what they call no .php, the extension .php. You go back again, refresh, the error is gone. You see this message here? Okay, so there's the message we are displaying over here. That's why we need to update this. If not, it will be on all the UIs, and so we just have to update this. How do we do that? Simple, just cut this, get rid of the else part, and then put this over here. Awesome, problem solved. We go back, we refresh, the message should be gone. Something is happening over here. I don't know what the issue is, but okay. Let's see, what's the issue now? Okay, I see where the error is. We are saying that if the connection is successful, do this, but let's put it rather, let's inverse it. So if that is not, let's add the not operator. You save, you go back, you refresh. Awesome, the message is gone, and so that's what will happen. Now my internet is down, so I'll get it up and running. I'm using the CDN link, so obviously I need the internet to be up and running for the tailwind that I've applied over here to take effect. So let me get the internet up and running, then we can continue from this section. But of course, it doesn't hurt for us to copy this, give some space, and paste it. It doesn't hurt for us to do that. Let's check it out and see. We are on the registration page. Let's try the login page, and same thing. Awesome. So as I said, I'll pause the video, get the internet up and running, then we continue. And so my internet is up and running again, and so the UI is back to the state it was before. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is to insert the data into the database. You know what, let me close this too. Okay, so let me close. Okay, I'll close this one too, so we can focus on the registration. Now I just realized that I need to give the button the name attribute, and so I just insert it somewhere. Name, and then we can call it, I don't know, what do we call it? Register? Can I spell register? Okay, and then obviously we need to do the same for the login, but no, we want to get there, we'll work on that. And then I need to have the form tag somewhere, so what will be the best place to fix this? Form. I think let me change this to form. Let me undo, select the whole thing, form. Let's see if the closing, okay, so this is the closing tag, it has also been changed. Let's save and make sure our UI is in the same state, the same shape as it was. Okay, we have it here. Okay, we move back. Okay, awesome. Now let's work on the insertion. So we need to grab whatever or capture whatever the user is typing here in these fields, and then insert it into our database or our table, the columns in the table. Okay, so how come we have this? Let's see. I don't understand how you have this auth in here also. Okay, I get it now. Honestly speaking, I thought I had named the table uses, but I don't know why it's still auth. But I think you get it. You get the concept. We can, in fact, let's maintain it that way and go on. Let's move on. And so instead of users, we will be done with auth. Okay, that's fine. Let's work. And so you begin with the code, and so you make use of this attribute. Okay, and then the form has, let's add method to the form. We don't need the action for anything, so the method will be post. Okay, let's work together. If a condition begins, so if what, if a set, excellent, and then what do we do? Post. I hope the spelling is correct. Okay, it's correct. Okay, we have this. Then what do we do? We have this name attribute here, so we pick that one. I think let me just copy and paste it there. Awesome. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so now you see the essence of the name attribute we added. Okay, let's move on. And so at this point in time, you need to grab or capture those the three inputs or the three fields. Okay, so first let me just clarify this. With the form, you can still add the action if you want to, but the reason I'm not adding the action is that I am writing the PHP code in the same file. If you are writing the PHP code in a different file, you just have to add the path of that file over here, but I'm writing it in the same file, so I will not even make use of the action. So let's just get rid of it, but you can still leave it there regardless if you want. Okay, so let's go on. So now how do we capture the inputs from the user? It's very simple. And so we create a variable. You can give it a name of your choice, maybe f name, I don't know. Then we have, let me just copy this. Okay, I didn't know ChatGPT was even working. Okay, well, we seem to get it correct. Where is the name coming from? The name is coming from this attribute, the name attribute we added to the input over here. And so we can also guess the next one. The next one will be, where is that one? Of course, email, this one. Okay, so let's see if it will complete it for us. Meaning I'm lazy, email, and the next one is password. Awesome. Okay, this is not the best way to go, the best way to learn, but it's correct, and so you maintain it. And so the point is that if these attributes are different over here, like for instance the name attributes have different values, make sure they match. These are just variable names, and so the f name and this, they are just variable names. So you can variable names are user defined. You choose your own variable names. You understand me? Okay, so behind the scenes, Copilot generated the code for me. Initially I said ChatGPT, but I meant Copilot. Okay, and so Copilot generated the code for me, these very ones. Okay, so these lines of code, I'm maintaining it. I want to maintain it. I just want to let you know that you don't have to follow ChatGPT or Copilot blindly. I mean, in this case, it's Copilot, not ChatGPT. You don't have to follow it blindly. Sometimes it can either get it wrong, or I don't want to say mislead, but sometimes you get it wrong. Okay, and so an example of this is this one, this variable name. This is coming from the connect, but you see in our case we use double N, and so you have to check some of these basic things. You change it to call double N, and then aside that, of course, everything here is okay. It's okay. But you see, if the person is successfully registered, I think that the person should be directed to the login page. You understand? So let's have another echo. This time I don't need this. What we need is Windows. How can I spell it? Window dot open. And then what do you need in there? Of course, we need the name of this. Let me just complete this. The name of this, the login, or the UI we want to navigate the user to. So login.php. So we want to send the person there, and then we want to open it in the same. I mean, we don't want to open it in a different tab. You understand? It should be in the same tab, and so we can have something like that sort, something like this. Let's say we have this, and then the underscore. We have the self. This is HTML. I think you should be able to understand this. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we can check it out. But there's another thing over here. The table name is auth. You see, it should have been users. I mean, ideally. So if you are watching, if you can change it to users, fine. But I'm too lazy. I don't want to go back and change it to users. So I'll maintain the auth. Awesome. With this, I think we have made progress. It should be able to work. Let's test it out. So we visit our browser, and then let me first refresh, navigate to the register screen. Okay, this is unexpected. Let's see. And there was a flash of an error somewhere. I just want to capture the error. It says what? The email, password, F-name, undefined. Okay, that's fine. Let's check it out. Okay, we'll go back to the code, and then we check if everything is correct as it's supposed to be. Okay. Undefined. Of course, it will be undefined. If I write the code this way, then it will be undefined. Let's get rid of this. I mean, it's supposed to be in a open and closing curly brace. So you can just, what you copy, you just paste it here. Yeah. This should work. I think it's F-name. I mean, you can even leave the F-name out. The same thing. So. And so then we have this and that, and we can a bit of indentation. We can just test this one out and see. Hopefully it should work. Okay, let's check it out. Refresh again. We have the UI, and so we are testing something out. So let's see. We have the name as this, and then we have the what else? The email as this. Let's put in some dummy password. Let me just get it right. Maybe you may need it in future. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, we hit the register button, and then there is an error. Okay, table auth.users doesn't exist. Okay, exception, the table auth.users doesn't exist. Okay, of course it doesn't exist. So like I said, we should maintain, or we should change the table name to auth. You know what? Let me just avoid this laziness. Let me just go back to the database. We drop this table. Where is the operation? I don't have operation here. Structure. Will this drop the database? I don't know. The table, sorry. Oh, what's happening? Let me just fix that error. You see, let me create a new table, use the users, because it's not appropriate you have the database name as auth and then our table as auth. It may work regardless, but let's just drop it. I don't know about you. And so I'll drop it and I'll get back to you very soon. And so I have dropped the table. Now let's create a new table. users, 4 columns is okay. And then do you have to watch me do this? Anyway, we are here already. So email, we have password. Let me hit tab. We maintain this varchar 255. I have explained all this already, and so by default it is 11 over here, and so we select this, make sure this becomes a primary key, and then that should be all. I think that's all. We save, we move on. And so now that we have this, we have gotten this out of the way, the spirit of laziness has evaporated for me. Okay, and so that is it. We have this. Let's see. Yeah, this is better. This sounds better. And so we go back to the code, and then where is the code? We can maintain the users. And let's see. Go back to the browser. Over here, you refresh, and then what's happening? I'll go back. Refresh again. Okay, we have this. Just need to add the password 1 2 3 up to 9. Hit enter. Sorry, we register. User registered successfully. We click OK. We are navigated back to the login screen. We go back to our database, refresh, and see if the data has been inserted to the database. It's taking a bit of time. There we go. The data has been inserted to the database. Awesome. And so that is it. That's how you insert data into the database using PHP from the front end side of the code. It was that simple. Of course, there are more things we can do. Things like we should not send an empty data to the database. We should also ensure that we don't have duplicate data, like duplicate email address in the database. We will do that very soon. With respect to the ensuring you are not sending empty data, we can have the required field. You just have to add required. If I can spell it, yes. I'll just leave it. So we can have this for all of them. Where is the required? And that will solve the problem of sending empty data to the database. And so if your if your input is empty, you'll not be allowed to move on to the next one. That problem has been solved. Now the next one you have to solve it to make sure that the user does not register using the same email address, and so we don't want to have duplicate email address in our database. How do you go about that? You know what, even before we go ahead, let me add commenting to this so we can know what we are doing. So let's say insert this for insertion, right? So insert data into database. Can I spell database? Yes. And then the next one, what do we do? Of course, now we are going to check if the email exists, the email the user is registering with exists or not. And so what do you do? Get some comments. Let's say check if email exists already. I think one thing that I should do also is to stop the Copilot. I think so. I should stop the Copilot from generating the code because we are learning. So yeah, let me pause the video and do that. Okay, so I have done that. Now let's go ahead. So what do? We create a variable with the $sign. I don't know why I always type the sign. Oh, I thought I just disabled the Copilot one. Okay, select all from users table where email is equal to email. Okay, that's correct. No. This I don't want it to suggest the code for me. I thought I just did. Okay, so the next variable, let's create another variable, call it result. Same thing. Okay, and so we have to. I'll stop it. I think I'll stop it. Let me just finish this. I think what we have to do next is we have this, and then this and that, and so we have to have a condition to check if. We need to have a condition. So let's have the if and so we have my exactly what I was looking for. Let me just accept it and see. MySQL number of rows. Yeah, this result. If it's greater than 0, okay, then of course the user already exists. It means it's more than 0, so the user already exists. And if it is not, then it means the user does not exist. Of course. So what we'll do is that if the user already exists, we just navigate back to the same page we are. That's the registration page. Okay, so over here, and then if the user doesn't exist, of course, we go ahead to register the person. But if the user exists, we stay on the same page and then we exit. You understand me? We exit, and so yes, the code is correct. Just that I'm not comfortable. I'm not happy with the way it generated the code. We are learning, so we are supposed to type it ourselves. I was going to get the same, I mean similar, if not the same, then similar. Use this. I was going to use similar approach, I should say. I think, yeah, that's okay. This should work. You're checking if the the user's email exists already. If it does, we prompt the person that hey, the email address exists. If not, we go ahead and register the person. So what we can do is that we go to the browser and check it out. And so already we are using this, and we have this in the database already. This is the email address, test@gmail.com. And so this is what I'm looking for. Let's add our password and see. Let's see what happens. Your email already exists. So if I click on OK, we go back to the registration page for the person to provide a different email address. And so the fact of the matter is that the code pilot generated or suggested works. Just that I wasn't happy about it, but it works anyway. And so what we can do is that we will accept it and then we proceed. And so as far as I'm concerned, I think everything that needs to be done as far as the registration is concerned is done. I don't know if there's something we are missing out or there are more features we can add, but let's go through the code again. Let's go through the UI also. Let's see if there's anything we can add. The login, the registration page is this. We have these 3 fields. That's okay for me. Let's go to the database and check it out. Okay, I see something here. I see that the password is in plain text, and so what we can do is that we can hash it, and I think that's the best thing to do. And so let's go ahead and see how best we can do that, how best we can hash the password. It shouldn't be in plain text. In the real world project, you will definitely hash it. And so let's start with the comment, encrypt password. If I can spell encrypt, my goodness. Okay, and so we create a variable, we call it password, and then md5 is a method, so we invoke it and then we pass the password variable to it. Okay, and that's all you need to do. Now let me draw your attention to the fact that there are so many ways of encrypting password. This is only one of the means. It can be encrypted and the likes. It can just research on that and how to encrypt password. There are so many methods and so many means of doing that. We will just stick to this. Why? Because it is simple, and MD5 seems secure. And so let's check it out in our UI, I should say. And so we refresh, we fill the form, we go with this, okay, and then we provide the password of your choice. We go with the same password 1 to 9. We register. User registered successfully. The notifications will come. We go back to our database. We reload the page, and then the new user we just registered should be added to the list of users we have over here. Then the password field, as you can see, has been encrypted. It has been hashed. Okay, and so that is it. That's how simple it is to encrypt a password using this means. Looking at what we've done so far, I don't think there's more we can do. If there was more you think we can do, you can put it in the comment section and I'll work on that. Okay, and so we can proceed to the login screen from here. And so now the most difficult part of our project has been done. That's the registration page. And so let's go to the login page. And then behind the scenes, I have written the code for the login page already. And so we don't have to waste time writing it over again. Now this is what I added. Just as we did for the registration page, I changed this div to a form, and then I added these two, the method and then the action. Like I said, you can ignore the action part. Why? Because we are writing the code in the same file. Okay, and then I added the name attribute to the button over here. The rest, they have their own name attribute already. So let me change this. I think I forgot to do them. Let me change this to required. Okay, so we don't send empty data to the backend or to the database. Okay, basically, so that is it. And so you are familiar with this already. I'm just referencing the name attribute here, and then I'm setting it over here. I'm just also capturing whatever the user is typing in the input field. That's for the email and the password. And then I'm doing the necessary checks. Of course, I'm also converting the database, the password to let me say I'm encrypting the password. That's the word. I'm encrypting the password, and I'm doing my checks over here. I have to check and see whatever the user is typing is correct, if the email exists or not, and those kind of checks. And so I'm doing all the checks over here. If the email exists, the user is who we say he is, and so you need to allow the person to pass. If not, of course, you need to show the appropriate error message. And so I'm done that over here also. All these things are over here. If the password is incorrect, we need to also check that if the password is incorrect, we need to show the appropriate error to the user and then remain on the login page. Of course, if the email doesn't exist, it means the person is not registered, and so we remain on the login page also. The person has the option to go to the registration page to register. What we have here is that if the password and everything is correct, the email and password are correct, then the person can go to the next page. You can call it the home page or whatever you want to call it. I called it the dashboard, so I'm here to create this. So let me create it, then we can test it out. Okay, and then we can, let me just copy this. I think we will need this rather. And then we add this there. What do you call it? Let's just call it h2 welcome home. Let's a bit of tailwind css, and so fonts, let me leave the fonts test to Excel. That's okay. Okay, and we have this also. So awesome. So yeah, we can test it out. In fact, I tested it out, and then I'm trying to navigate from here to the browser. Okay, I tested it out and I realized we had an error because initially that page wasn't I hadn't created the page yet, the dashboard page, which I just did. So now the error should be gone. Okay, so this is what we have now. So now the user, what's happening? Okay, the user has logged in successfully, and so the user can log in, the user can register, and the user can log in. That's what I should say. I think we should test the login again for you to see. And so let's change the URL to the login. And so if you can go to the login page, this is the login page. Awesome. And so we log in again. Remember, we have these users available, so we can pick any of them. I don't know the password. I don't know if I still remember the password for all of them, but let's try and see. So the first one you can work with, copy a test, and then let me just hit tab. Then the password for this was, I don't know if 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I think so. Let's try it and see. Awesome. Login successful. And so that's how the login works. The user has logged in. Okay, so it means that we have worked on the registration, and as well as we have also worked on the login aspect. Okay, we also have a home page where the user, after logging in successfully, the user will be navigated to the home page, and then you can go ahead and build the home page if you want to. I'm not going to do that in this tutorial. The focus is not on that. The focus is on authenticating user using PHP. Okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, so I think that the only thing I'll change is I'll just change this to home or dashboard if you want to. Then what else we have? What else? Maybe in future you will see what we can do. I think I forgot to test the other aspects of the authentication. That's the login, when the password or something is incorrect. So let's test that out also. So we go to the browser, we change this to login, and then we see, so we have this which we use. I don't know if it's correct, and then I don't know why it didn't suggest this for me, but let's see. And so I'm going to omit 9, and let's see. Password is incorrect. We go back to the login page. Okay, let's see if the email address does not exist. Let's see. The email address does not exist, and so the page gets cleared for you to type the correct email address, or you go to the registration page to register. Of course, you can also show an alert to the user, to notify the user that the email address does not exist. You can show an alert message if you want to, but I'll not do that over here. You should be able to do that. It's very simple. You can go through the code, how we've been showing the alert messages for all the other messages or the other pages, and then just do the same thing. Okay, Okay, I don't know why. I even have it here. I don't know why it didn't show up. It didn't pop up, but email doesn't exist. Okay. Awesome. So basically, that is it. Okay. And so in our login file, we have a session. And so using that session, the global variable session, we'll be able to retrieve the user's data. In this case, the email. If it's the name, we can retrieve the name. In this case, I'm retrieving the users. I'll use this to retrieve the user's email rather. And so let's go to the home page or the dashboard, and then you write your PHP syntax. You start the session as I have done over here, and then I don't know why you want to retrieve the user's email, but in my case, I'm retrieving it in the body. For your case, you can retrieve it wherever you want to retrieve it. I'll leave that to you. So this line will help me to retrieve the user's email. And so we go to the browser, and then we have it here. You can test it out again, login, sorry. And then let's use the other email address. I don't know if I still remember the password, but let's test@test.com. Was it so? Let me check it out. Test@gmail.com rather. Gmail.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The password is incorrect. Test@gmail.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Let's 5 and I don't know. I don't remember the password, but of course, what we can do is that we can register a new person. So Rita, I don't know anybody by name Rita, but let's see. I don't know. Let's see. So Rita test.com. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I remember this one. Okay, Rita has registered successfully. You go to the database, you refresh, and then Rita should be added to the list of users we have over here. Whilst it's loading, okay, there you have it. And so we go back, we should be able to log in with Rita@test.com, and then the password 1 to 9. We log in successful, and then there you have it. So you are retrieving Rita's email address using the session. This is what I wanted to show you. Where is the code? Over here. Okay, the person logs in, we use the session, we start the session, we store the person's email address, we come here, we start the session again, and then we retrieve the person's email address. Now, since we have a login page, a registration page, and a home page, obviously we need to have a logout page. We need to have a way to log the user out of the application. And so let's add a logout button here. But even before that, let's create the file for that. So we create a new file, we call it logout. If I can spell it, PHP. Okay, so what we do is that we have some PHP syntax over here. I think I start with this. Okay, what we have is can I spell it? Session start. Awesome. We have the next one. I have the session on set. Where is the on set? Okay, and then we can have the session destroy. Awesome. Then next we have, so after destroying the session, what do you want to do? Well, I think we should be able to navigate the user back to a certain page. Which page is that? The login page. Okay, so we have a code, we have our script here. Okay, logout successful, but not just this. I don't think you should just show the I don't think so. Just the person should be navigated back to the what do you call it, the login page. And so let's see, we have something here. Okay, awesome. Let me copy this line. Let's go to the logout, you paste it. If you have to do editing, of course you have to do editing. So you have the login.php. Okay, there we have it. Next thing you have to do is go to the dashboard and then add logout button logout. I don't know if I have to just, I don't know, let's XL LG, test LG, I don't know, fonts, medium, let's see, suggest something for me, let's see, yeah, medium, and what have you. Nothing much, we can, I'll leave the styling of the homepage to you. One thing we cannot omit is the link to the sign-in page, and so we can have, let's say, okay, what is this? Okay, we leave it as it is. Yeah, log out to the page. We have this over here. Okay, so that we have it. Of course, I enabled the Copilot just to help me with this part of the code. The video was getting too long, so let's make things easier for ourselves. Okay, and so this should work. We have this, we have that, we have this, we have the logout session. This should work. Let's go to the browser, we refresh, you see the logout here, you click on logout, and there you have it. And so we log in again, Rita at test, I believe. The password was 123456789, I believe. And then we login successful. We see the data of the user, that's the email address and the email address, of course. And then you can log out. There you have it. Okay. And so, like I said, I'll leave the homepage for you to do the styling. So this brings us to the end of our project. From the onset, we've been working on user authentication using PHP and MySQL. Focus was not much on the HTML and then the tailwind aspect. Focus was more on the using PHP to authenticate a user. Combining PHP and MySQL to authenticate a user. Okay, that will be all for now. Thanks for watching.